What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Action Network podcast presented by DraftKings. I am your host, Chris Raybon. This is our NFL Week 6 betting preview. We're going to talk sides, totals, props, moneyline dog, parlays, touchdown parlays, and of course, we're going to build our Sunday six-pack of Against the Spread bets with the help of my co-host, the Prime Minister of Degenerate Nation, Stuckey. Stuck. You've been crushing it this year. How you feeling heading into week number 6?
Good. 1-2 on the six pack last week, but winning week. I gave you the Broncos. I wanted to keep you in there. And I, hit the money line dog total
Like 5 in a row.
And my touchdown score.
Yeah, T Higgins. I actually had that. I had T Higgins as well.
So yeah, it was a decent week. I had some end game joy. Like I feel like it's finally turning around. Like I had the Jags. I had the Panthers, although they were clearly the right side, but the Broncos. So like some final. I mean, it's been like a year and a half where none of that has happened, and so I had a bunch of games. Obviously, lost the Baker end game, but that's just betting against Baker, I guess. But yeah, it was a good week, but who cares? We're on to this week, I guess. But before we get to Thursday night football, Eagles Giants. I did play the Giants small at 7.5. I don't love it, but I make it around 6. I think you're around the same.
Yeah.
So like and I expect it to be super low scoring. I agree with the under move. So yeah, you're telling me I get over a touchdown on what should be a super low scoring game with a home divisional dog. And I know that the Giants are depleted at receiver. Like they already lost Neighbors, and what Slayton is going to be out. So I mean, I assume they're just going to go. It looks like they're going to be healthier in the backfield with Taylor. I assume they're just going to go run heavy, and you can run on the Eagles this year. And Carter might not play, which is massive. And they're going to go run heavy, throw to their backs, throw to their tight ends, use darts, legs, and you can run on this Eagles defense with quarterbacks a bit and just ugly this game up. And on the other side of the ball, like I just don't trust this Eagles team to get margin. And and this Giants defensive line could dominate this game, especially considering this Eagles offensive line is just not the same. It's why Barkley can't get going on the ground, which is important because the Giants can't defend the run. And they're not healthy. Dickerson will miss. It's not the same interior. So this Giants defensive line could really cause some damage, but really just taking a number and what I expect to be a lower scoring game. I'm curious to see if the Giants decide to play more zone. They're playing like cover one about 40% of the time, one of the highest rates in the league. Hurts versus man coverage has been pretty good this year. 52% success rate, point 0.4 EPA per play, both around 7th in the league. Against zone, he's been, I mean, abysmal. 30th in the league, a 37% success rate, minus 0.2 EPA per play. So curious to see what they do there. But and this will be a super slow pace game. I mean, the Eagles are snapping it with less than 5 seconds on the play clock on over 70% of their plays. That's the highest rate by eons that we've seen in the last 5 years. Giants aren't fast paced, so this will be a slow paced game too. So yeah, I took the dog. Even at current, I would still lean under.
Yeah.
This thing has like, I don't know, 17-13 written all over it.
Yeah. The only real wild card is Dart. He's still a little tough to handicap. Like I unfortunately didn't listen to you and took the Giants money line last week. Felt good about it for like a quarter, but
yeah, he could turn it over here, which is concerning.
He could also like break out. We just don't like. It's kind of he's one of those guys that he's flashed enough to like say, okay, he might just have a breakout game, but he also could be horrible with the turnovers.
But like the Giants not having receivers could help them because like, I mean that sounds weird to say, but even with Slayton, they weren't going to win with their receivers against the Eagles corners. And it just might make them go more conservative, feature more of the backs, the QB run game, the tight ends, other places where they might have some advantages. Although that's not easy against the Fangio defense, and it's a young quarterback against the Fangio defense on a short week, which isn't ideal. But just this Eagles offense, they go into it's like there's one half every week where they do nothing. It doesn't matter who they play. they'll have a half where they go scoreless with like 40 yards, and there's just no rhythm to this offense. I hate the play calling. So
It's
yeah,
been bad. Yeah, we had what, one design run in the second half last week or something like that. It was
I mean
just
Barkley only touched the
absurd.
like you want to run on the Broncos, and they just didn't run it at all. So yeah, I don't get what they're doing. So like this team laying over a touchdown on the road with some offensive line injuries against a defensive line that can dominate the game. Yeah, I took a small, very small, because I hate Thursday night football, but I did play the Giants lean under.
Yeah, I think I haven't taken it yet. I probably will just take both because I, even if the Giants don't
If the Giants get
cover
blown out, Eagles
somehow,
just sit on it.
yeah, exactly. Like nothing's gonna happen in the second half. Great game for a live under anytime. Like if the Eagles, anytime anyone scores, I'll just take an under in that game because yeah, especially if it's the Eagles because if they're up, it's I don't know if the Giants can do anything about it, but
Yeah, they're not going to play from way behind.
yeah, Jackson Dart's probably their best receiver. They should just put Russell Wilson back and use Dart as like a running back or so. I don't even know. Like Wandale's in
It's going
the
to be
slot. He's not gonna get any
Bellinger and Theo
catches.
Johnson. They're going to get what, like 15 targets.
It's not looking great. Not looking great. But let's jump into the Sunday six pack presented by DraftKings. 1912 is the score. You're up stuck. For anyone new to the show, 2 points for our first two picks, a point for our third, a point for our total in the next segment. And if you sweep all of them, you also get a bonus point. Stuck, you're up first. Where are you going for week number 6?
All right, with my first pick of the week 6 Sunday six pack, I am going with the San Francisco 49ers +3 at the Tampa Bay Bucks. I am ready to get hurt again by Baker Mayfield. Although the one time I faded him as a favorite of a field goal or more this year, I did cover with the Jets at home. The Bucks have been one of the luckiest teams in the NFL. The 49ers, in fairness, are up there in the luck rankings as well. But the Bucks are 4-1. Guess how many times they would have covered this number? 0. So there's a disconnect between how good people think this Bucks team is because of how clutch Baker Mayfield has been and how he looks in the last minute or two. But they've yet to win a game by more than 3 points, and it's you know like in order to win by margin here, you're going to have to do more than rely on Baker magic at the end of the game. And I don't think that there's much at all separating these teams. Number one, they've both been fairly lucky, Bucks a little bit more so. There's also still some potential turnover regression coming for Baker. Didn't come last week and he was clean last week, but for the full season, he's been pretty fortunate. Both of these teams have injuries. 49ers have some injuries on the defensive side of the ball. I assume Mac Jones is going to play. He's been fine. He's like top 5 in success rate. He's taking way fewer sacks and way fewer pressures and holding onto the ball way less than Brock Purdy and just getting rid of it quick, which is what you want to do against this Bucks defense. And I mean, the Bucks are beat up in the secondary. The Bucks are beat up on the offensive line, in the backfield, at wide receiver. And I get Mayfield has been amazing, but they've been uber reliant on explosive plays, which is not the most consistent formula to rely on moving forward. I mean, how many times are you going to keep getting 3rd and 18 touchdowns and 3rd and 15 conversions? And you're going to play a lot. You're going to play the 49ers who are good against the run, and they're going to play a lot of zone coverage on the back end, prevent the explosive play, make the Bucks work it down the field with an offense that isn't at 100% health. So, yeah, you're going to give me a field goal here. 49ers extra preparation for Shanahan, which is important while the Bucks are coming across the country again. And this Bucks defense right now, with all the injuries, is just dreadful. I mean, what did the Seahawks average? 8 yards per play last week? They basically won that game because they won the turnover battle 2-0. They could not get a stop. So yeah, I'm going to take the 49ers catching 3. I mean, if you look, the Bucks are one of the if you just go by DVOA, they're one of the worst 4-1 teams of all time. I think they're 18th in DVOA, and 49ers are 16th. So yeah, I don't think that this should be at a field goal. I don't think that there's almost anything separating these teams, even with Mac Jones at quarterback and the Bucks home field, especially with extra rest for San Francisco is certainly not worth 3 points. So I'll take the field goal. Give me the 49ers.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's getting back in his bag a little bit. I think the Rams, uh, that game was kind of a good tune-up for him because just for whatever reason the Niners can't really run this year, and
Yeah,
so
which neutralizes the strength of Tampa, which stops the run, and they have not been reliant on the running game. Plus, they could get Pearsall and Johnson back. Pearsall and Jennings.
Jennings, yeah,
Do you have any thoughts
they.
there?
I think that helps a lot because right now, Kyle Shanahan is just willing this team to success by essentially using Christian McCaffrey as his number one receiver. Like he's just putting him in the slot. He's coming out in weird formations and just, he's doing a lot more than he ever did, I think, pre-snap. And this is with a backup quarterback last week. So yeah, I was going to go
quarterback he originally wanted though.
You're right. Now you're making me think about a money line dog. I might have to pivot again. But that's the story for a few segments from now.
Have you heard anything on Pearsall or Jennings?
It sounds like they were going to be back, but they also said Purdy was going to be back. It was kind of one of those things where we're going to hold him out for the Thursday game and have him back after the bye. I doubt it a little. Like my fear is with this game, and I think this was your first pick, so I couldn't have taken it from you. But my fear is that we're sitting here, we don't have a practice report, and next thing you know, it's like Mac Jones. All these guys are out again, and he just turns back into Mac Jones. And like this Bucs team doesn't need any more like luck than to face the 49ers B squad. But I think I got a Super Bowl ticket on the Niners, very high in them. So as long as somebody plays, I like it because you just gotta do enough to. Emeka Egbuka is going to do something ridiculous. Like, did the Bucs just find another Hall of Fame receiver? Like, it's like Mike Evans, and now we're going to take another guy in the first round, and boom, he's unbelievable. But yeah, I agree with your pick. All right, for my first pick and the second overall of the Week 6 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the New York Football Jets.
Ugh.
Plus 7.5. It is disgusting. They are winless. They're still unlucky. They've still been unlucky. I don't know the last time I've said this about the Jets, but they're not as bad as they look. And usually they're a lot worse than they look. But
they're top 5 in net success rate somehow.
It has just been a comedy of errors. You got your quarterback knocked out at one point. You got, you also faced Bills, the Steelers. Like the schedule is not too easy outside of the Dolphins. The Cowboys, I have my doubts about too. But this team overall, they make these back-breaking mistakes. Like if you looked at that game last week, Breece Hall gets just clean clocked, fumbles. They're driving in to score. Dallas scores, and then the Jets go 3-and-out, and Dallas scores again. This all happens in like a minute and a half at the end of the second half. And that was, 2 scores is what Dallas won by. I know the Jets kind of padded it late, but, it would have been a whole different game because the Jets probably score on the other end. So that essentially was the difference in the game right there. But yeah, to your point, these teams are both, I think, good defensively. It's a low total game. So 7.5 in a game like this, you always want something like that. And then just at this point in the year, everyone's making a lot about the no one's undefeated, but if we're betting, we want to look more at the teams that are winless, because if you just blind bet winless underdogs at any point in the season, week 2, all the way through until, these dogs win, you are 119, 77-2 since 2018, 61%. Your ROI is 17%. And if you bet them and they're single digit dogs, so not just, oh man, they're just terrible, 103, 58-2 over that same span, 64% with a 23% ROI. So this is just a spot for me. And remember, this is a neutral field. I think I do give the Broncos a slight, like a little boost just because Sean Payton did this last year. They kind of know what to expect a little more. But the Jets were out there too. Just different situation, different coaching staff or whatever. But overall, good defenses. Jets been very unlucky. I think their numbers, what are they? 32? Are they dead last in the luck rank? Yeah, they
They should have beat the
are.
Dolphins. They should have beat the
Yeah,
Steelers.
and then I look at this matchup: Sauce Gardner on Cortland Sutton. That should be successful. Broncos can do the same thing, but Justin, our guy Nick Giffen actually pointed out to me that Fields has played really well against man coverage, and the Broncos, they've been playing a ton of man this year. They're top 3 in man coverage rate. Now that's something that you could always adjust, and Sean, and the team in
They
general
did that
likes to break
last week against
indices.
Philly.
Yeah,
They went all zone second half.
yeah. But that makes me wonder if they go, if they don't do that again. But either way, I think this Jet team is just has been very unlucky. The penalties, the Jets have just been called for back-breaking penalties. They're among the top of the league in penalty yardage and penalties called against. So neutral field, you're talking about the Broncos now are a full 8 points essentially better than the Jets on a neutral field. I can't get there. Bo Nix is a little Fields like at times. He's just his negative plays just don't end in his sacks as much because he can get the ball out quicker. But he has these inexplicable moments where it just doesn't look good and the ball's going out of bounds and he's running, but he's not getting anywhere. So I just think this line is way too inflated. Love the spot for the Jets. Winless dogs. Something I'm gonna bet on every week.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tried to win this dog last week. Well, technically, it won't even fit in that data set because I bet them +3. They close -1.5 and get blown out. There's, I
oh my god,
I might join you on the surface. It's a good buy low, sell high spot. Broncos off the win against Philly. Jets are winless, get blown out at home, neutral field, lower scoring game. I will say the Jets defense I'm done with the Jets defense. They're atrocious. I mean, that was an embarrassing effort last week. You're playing a team that was without 4 starting offensive linemen, without 2 of their best receivers, and you can't get a stop. I'm done with their defense. Their defense to me is one of the worst in the league. The fall off has been incredible. Additionally, they can't stop running quarterbacks. They can't do it. They can't stop anything. They can't tackle. So, I mean, even with Bo Nix, I know that the Broncos have a guard injury, but other than that, they're pretty healthy. I think anyone can move the ball. I mean, think about the 2 games the Jets had to win or almost won. It was a shootout versus the Steelers and a higher scoring game against the Dolphins. So they're gonna have to do it with their offense. That's where the problem comes in for me. Because Broncos are excellent against mobile quarterbacks, probably the best defense in the league at limiting quarterback run game. If Surtain takes out Garrett Wilson, you can run a little bit, but on the Broncos. But I mean, what other recourse do the Jets have? If you have the best corner in the league taking away your only receiver, that's what makes it tough for me. If the Jets fall behind here, it's going to get ugly. But I do make it under a touchdown. Jets have been unlucky, like you said, penalties, close games, turnovers. There's some major turnover regression. They've been extremely unlucky there. So it's Jets or nothing. I do think the under is probably the look. How are the Jets moving the ball here consistently?
Yeah, I mean, so the thing that I wanted to mention that.
How do you envision the Jets moving the ball in this game?
So that's actually, I think, number one, I think Taylor could play a bigger role, but it's going to be the running backs. Let's be serious. But I'm not taking the Jets. I actually said to Nick, I said, never, when you back the number one, the only rule about backing Justin Fields or a Justin Fields quarterback team is never convince yourself that you're going to win the bet because of Justin Fields, because you're not. I actually think the Jet defense is a little bit underrated.
How? Right now, what do they do well? They don't do anything good.
They've had injuries, and we'll see what happens with Johnson's still iffy, so it still could be bad. But all that being said,
I mean, they are
fifth
on
in
the
success
season.
rate. They're fifth
They're
in defensive success
29.
rate. They just have 0 turnovers. We know turnovers will regress. And Bo Nix, when you talk about like the Broncos are one of those teams that they could just have those inexplicable turnovers with Bo Nix. And Sean Payton could just make stupid calls. And then every week, win or lose, Sean Payton's like, yeah, I made a bad call right there. So I just think this is like, you're telling me the Broncos are 8 points better on a neutral field. Like this is a team that was just kind of floating around, like 500 heading into last week. And then they beat the Eagles, who are ridiculously overrated. Like the Eagles offense is not too much better than the Jets. The Jets offense is probably better than the Eagles at this point in terms of actual production. Maybe not talent.
Look, the Jets are top 10 in success rate on offensive defense.
Yeah, like I can't ignore that. And then like turnovers regress. Like the Jets have 0. They're only team in the league, only defense in the league with 0 turnovers. So yeah, this is a play that I have to make. It's just how I bet. It's in my veins, man. I can't.
I mean, same. But
it's ugly. Hold your
the
nose
matchup. Because I also have to take into account the matchup, and like I'm just trying to figure out how the Jets are going to move the ball because their roster is constructed so poorly. They just have one receiver, and then you're going up against Surtain, and you now have basically one back in Breece Hall, and you're playing a team that can defend the quarterback run with all of its speed, as well as anybody. And they're probably going to go more zone here because of that. And I mean, obviously, every team is going to mix it up, but I would assume more of a zone-heavy split than they usually do. And then you have Jermaine Johnson, Quinton Williams is banged up. The linebackers on the Jets right now are so bad. Is Michael Carter going to play? We'll see. But
no.
the rest of the secondary, besides Sauce, to me is bad. I don't know, but I agree. At 7.5, it's Jets or nothing. All right, for my second,
Ted Nine last year. Yeah, but yeah.
For my I can't talk about the Jets anymore. For my second pick and the third overall of the Week 6 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs -2.5 at home against the Detroit Lions. I faded the Chiefs last week. I still have questions about their offense. Was part of the reason. I'm a believer now. I mean, they had a 64% success rate, highest of the year. And I mean, Thornton seems to be the real deal as a downfield threat. Worthy obviously makes a big difference. And the offense look at Mahomes' ADOT. It's back to your 2022 levels. They're throwing downfield. I think this Chiefs offense might be back, especially once Rice comes back. But they're going up against the Lions defense that has no secondary left. What are the Lions going to do here? They play a lot of man coverage and they blitz a lot. They played more zone last week because they don't have any corners left. And if Jake Browning didn't have the worst game of all time, they could have lost. I mean, Jake Browning basically handed them 21 points on. He couldn't even throw a catchable ball in the first half on one-on-ones on the outside. It was the most embarrassing half of football I've ever seen from a quarterback. He couldn't read the defense. He couldn't throw a catchable ball. I've never seen anything like it. For a guy who's had some success in the NFL, and they basically just handed the Lions that game. And by the way, speaking of the Lions, I get that they just cover every week, so people can just bet them, and I guess I'll just lose money. But, I mean, this is a team that, after week 1, everyone said, no, they're done, they're cooked. And now, 4 weeks later, everyone is saying, oh, they're back, nothing has changed. Who have they? Do you know who they played? They played the Bears at home, missing all their entire secondary. They played the current state of the Ravens with just Lamar Jackson, with the worst defense in the league. Then they played the Browns with Joe Flacco, who's now traded. And then they played the Bengals with Jake Browning, who was so bad they had to trade for Joe Flacco, who was benched. This 4-game stretch has been an absolute joke, and they're beat up. Taylor Decker might not go. Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't even practice today. I don't know what's going on there, but I assume he's going to play. But Decker would be a big loss, and this is a desperation spot for the Chiefs at home. I think the offense is back, and Mahomes. You're going to blitz Mahomes. You can't play man against these speedy receivers with your. I mean, they would have 3 receivers. You could run under 4-3. You can't play man with the current state of your secondary. So you're going to play zone and try to blitz. You can't do that against Mahomes. So I don't know how this Lions defense is going to get stops. And I'm going to trust Spagnuolo to do enough to get pressure on Goff to force him into some mistakes. So yeah, I like the Chiefs. This is a great spot. Lions are way more beat up, and I do think the Chiefs offense is back. Give me Kansas City at home.
Yeah, they should win here. But I mean, the Lions have been holding it together. But to your point, can't really tell too much because of the strength of schedule. But yeah, everyone is back on the Lions. I think. Yeah, I was just reading about something like, oh yeah, they're essentially going to the Super Bowl. It's like, back up, guys.
But, I mean, they've played the last 2 quarterbacks. They played Browning. And they played the 2 most beat up defenses at the time in the league with the Ravens and the Bears. And then they played Browning and Flacco. And their secondary is even more beat up now. They lost Arnold. Dorsey's out. I mean, Arnold hasn't been great, but you have no bodies left. So yeah, I'll take the Chiefs to get it done. For what it's worth, I did a rare money line parlay of the Chiefs and the Packers. I'll just knock that game out right now. The Bengals somehow got the only quarterback in the league that's been worse for zone coverage than Jake Browning, and the only quarterback who creates more pressures on his own than Jake Browning, and Joe Flacco, who the Packers already saw. Flacco's to come in this week, learn the offense. Packers off of a bye, LaFleur with extra rest. The Bengals can't stop a nosebleed. How is Flacco going to deal with this pressure? I don't know. He's going to make mistakes. Maybe Higgins and Chase will have a big day, but yeah, I have even money. The reason I did that is because Dan Campbell just does weird shit in these games. So I can see him like going for 2 or something and this falling on a weird number. So I did moneyline parlay. I don't recommend always doing that, but I do think the Packers are pretty safe this week.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, they were safe for 56 minutes the first time against Flacco, and and then they tie the. I mean,
and they were going up against an elite defense on the road.
That's the difference.
This is the worst defense in the league, and they should be healthier on the offensive line. So, but yeah, for the contest, for the 6-pack, give me Chiefs -2.5.
All right, I'll get to my second pick in a moment. Just a reminder, we have a special promo for those of you thinking of subscribing to Action Pro. For a limited time, you can get 33% off a monthly subscription. So for the price of a week, you get a whole month's worth of access. Get our NFL prop experts like Sean Kerner, Nick Giffen, all their picks instantly. So you always get the best number because those guys do move the lines. Plus, MLB playoffs are happening nightly. College football is in full swing. So now is a great time to experience all that Action Pro has to offer. Just head to actionnetwork.com/pro today to get 33% off a monthly subscription. Before we get to the rest of our Sunday 6-pack, I'll throw it to myself for a quick word from our sponsor. The Action Network podcast is sponsored by DraftKings, and in partnership with DraftKings, we'd like to tell you that the next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. That's right. New customers turn $5 into $200 if your bet wins, paid instantly in bonus bets. To get started, use promo code Action Network when signing up. Once more, use Action Network when signing up with DraftKings to get on board. The crown is yours. All right. If you didn't think it could get any more disgusting than the Jets, you're in for one. Because for my second pick, the 4th overall of the week 6 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens plus 7.5 at home against the Rams. Now, the Ravens, no way else to say it. They don't have the best player in the league at quarterback, and they don't look like they're going to get him back. And half of their, or 3/4 of their defense has been injured. So they're not in good form, but I do think they'll be better this week than they were last week. I think some the trade. I think the move for Gardner Johnson, like, is he going to actually play, or are they just going to do the thing where they sign him to the practice squad and he doesn't actually play?
I don't know yet. I don't know anything that's going on with this team. I mean, the secondary right now is the biggest concern. I mean, because if you don't have Awuzie, Humphrey, Hamilton, and you already have Ardarius Washington's already on IR, and you're going up against these receivers, and your defensive line's a joke, and you can't get any pressure. And Roquan's, I think, going to be out. So, and the whole defensive line is in shambles. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do this. I can't. The Ravens are literally, I think they're the worst right now. 6. Depending on how I think who's going to play, I think they're the worst defense in the league right now. I mean, look at the Texans look like. And yeah, you have the Rams. McVay's usually good in these spots on the East Coast. They have extra rest.
This line is ridiculous. I think this line is ridiculous.
I mean, I'm a slightly under 7, but I don't have full confidence in, like, number one, who's all going to play, how to value all these cluster injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Lamar might be worth even more than I thought compared to Rush, because the whole offense has to change, which is another thing. It's just a completely different offense. And you want to attack the Rams secondary, but it's Cooper Rush. So, like, are you just taking the number here? And I mean, it's a good buy low spot on a team off of a blowout, but I don't know if I can get there. I mean, I hope for your sake and the show's sake, I'm going to root for them in the cover, and I'm going to root for them to win because of my team. But from a betting perspective, my hope was that they get blown out here, and then I'm going to come in and buy them to win the Super Bowl.
So first, yeah, and to that point, right now they're still favored to win the division, right? Like, so this is still a team that I just think this is the bottom of the market for the Ravens. I mean, you're talking about a Rams team at home was somehow favored by what, 8.5 at one point against the Niners, lose that game somehow. Now they're on the road across country, and it's the same number again. What do we know about this Ravens team? Well coached, and generally they make it work. This happens to them way too often. I think Harbaugh with another week, like they needed that against the Texans. They needed that wake up call. Harbaugh was like, yeah, I'm going to try everything. I still think they can, kind of muck up this game. This Rams team, I know McVay's been good in the past, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens win this game. I don't think Rush is like the worst quarterback. I think that's why they pivoted away from just using like a running quarterback. Probably elevate Huntley again. So if it does get bad, I think we do get Huntley. So I just think this week defense going to be better, more time to prepare, recommit to just a power run game, shorten the game. And I think the Ravens are a live dog here. But where are you going for your third?
Yeah, but for the Ravens Super Bowl, after the Rams, they get a bye, then they'll get healthier, get Lamar back. I think the one thing that you've mentioned with the plus 7.5, there is an outside chance Lamar plays. I don't think he is, and he didn't practice today, but you never know. After the bye, they go Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Pats. They could rattle off they could be like 1-5 and 10-5 before you know it, and then be back to like being the Super Bowl favorite. So I'll be looking. Maybe I'll throw like a little bit, a tiny bit of money on the Ravens win the Super Bowl this week. I don't know. They're probably like 6, just in case they win.
Yeah, exactly. That would ruin it.
And then if they lose, come back with a bigger position.
Right. Yeah.
All right. For my third pick in the 5th overall, the Week 6 Sunday 6-pack, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks plus 1.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I love this Jags team. Been betting them all year, but I think this is the time to fade them. You want to talk about turnover regression? It's coming for the Jags. Their defense can't keep getting pick sixes and 4 takeaways every single week. They lead the entire league by a wide margin in EPA off of turnovers. The offense also has some injuries on the offensive line. Brenton Strange, I think, is a very underrated loss. He went on IR. Short week off a huge emotional win. And Seattle's defense, I think, should be healthier. That's what burned them against Baker. That's another reason why this Bucks team, if you look last week, Seattle went in. I played the Seahawks -2.5 last week. They went in a little more banged up than they thought, and then they got hurt. They got hurt during the game. They like their secondary was in absolute shambles last week. But there's a chance they get DeMarcus Lawrence back. There's a chance they get a couple of guys in their secondary back, which would be big. But they're gonna look. The Jags aren't gonna be able to run the ball here in Seattle. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great. Like it's all scheme stuff from Liam Cohen. And you know who has been great? It's Sam Darnold. I mean, you just can't argue it at this point. He's number one in EPA plus completion percentage of expectation, number one in success rate, number one in adjusted EPA per play. And he's also been the best quarterback in the league against zone. That's what the Jags run a ton of. And I don't think Trayvon Walker is going to play again. I think they're going to ease him back, and they'll probably come back the following game. And without Trayvon Walker, it was very noticeable against the Chiefs with this defense that gave up a 64% success rate. They couldn't get any pressure. Their pressure rate fell off a cliff. It was 23.9%, season low by far. So this Seahawks offense is cooking. Darnold's playing at an extremely high level. They're going to get a defense, I believe, without Walker that can't really generate pressure, that has a hole on the outside at one corner spot at times. It's going to play a ton of zone. Darnold's been eating that up. Turnover regression for the Jags. Short week. I think Seattle should be healthy on the defensive side of the ball, but I think their defense matches up well. So, yeah, I'm going to take the 1.5 with the Seahawks on the road.
Yeah, this is one that's just I need to know exactly who's playing for the Seahawks because this is a lot. You know, it's not a 7.5, it's a 1.5. But if they get at least one more guy back in the secondary, and yeah, Lawrence, I think there's cluster injuries there too. D-line and secondary. So I don't know where this defense is at this point. So
yeah, I mean, McDonald said that Witherspoon and Lawrence will go out to practice midweek. Love later in the week. Derek Hall's not going to play.
Yeah.
But I think Witherspoon and Lawrence are going to play. I'm not sure on Love, and that would be enough for me.
Yeah, it could to the Jaguars. Yes, they've been lucky on defense, but I would say they've been pretty unlucky on offense. Like until I guess getting an extra touchdown off a play from the 1 yard line.
No, I agree, but the passing offense hasn't been like operating at an elite level. And they need to get their run game going. Like that's Cohen's whole offense is based off of that, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Seattle. So yeah, I'm just taking the 1.5. But look, it's Wednesday. It is my third pick. The other ones I thought of, we'll talk about in a bit. Where are you going for your final pick?
My third and final pick, the 6th overall of the Week 6 Sunday 6-pack. Going with the Carolina Panthers plus a juiced up 3.5. See if you can get that. I would prefer that to just the 3. But
you can get like -120 out there, so I'll give it to you for the contest. I'll give you a 3.5 -120.
All right, let's do it because
you owe me a half point somewhere down the line.
Yeah, we do this every year. You got it.
Panthers, we do one a year on each side.
Panthers last week started off really rough. Turnovers for Bryce Young, same old, but I do think that there were some important changes for the Panthers, being made kind of under the radar. Number one, whether Chuba plays or not, I think, pivoting to more Dowdle, it was a smart move, but they also kind of changed up a lot of things on defense in terms of, guys they were playing in certain spots. And I think it really did help because that, Miami got some short fields and they go up 17-0 and they were struggling to score for, I think it was like five straight punts or something like that at one point.
After they went up 17-0, they had one explosive play to Waddle.
Yeah. Yep.
The rest of their plays was 20 plays for 25 yards.
Ridiculous. And we've kind of seen the flashes of this Panther defense. And so it's not something I want to completely ignore because we saw them pitch the shutout to the Falcons. And you look at this both of these teams. So you look at the Panthers, and they've been a lot better defensively at home. Now, that makes sense. That just happens with certain teams. You got the crowd, you get more mistakes by the opposing offense. And Dallas has not been as good on the road offensively. I know Dallas is, up there in offense, but like I said, the Jets essentially gave the Cowboys 14 points in a span of like a minute at the end of the half when they really shouldn't have had any points. The Jets should have just been able to either to just run out that clock or, get close to it and not leave the Cowboys with just, time to score twice. Then they get the game before that was what? The Bears, 14 points the Cowboys put up against the Bears.
They should have lost at home to the Giants. I mean, let's be real. The Cowboys, there were 2 wins on the year against the Jets and Giants.
Right. That's concerning. The Panthers are just as bad, but they actually don't look just as bad to me based on some of the changes they made, because also you got Leggett back, and
is Coker coming back?
It sounds like he probably is still week to week. I would say another week, but
Horns looked okay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So the thing that actually is more important than straight up getting Coker back, who, I mean, might be their second best receiver, but is Leggett has speed. Horn has speed. But those guys were just inactive. Like Horn was a healthy scratch, and then Leggett was missing games. The Panthers had no speed on the field because Ted McMillan is great, but it's like you're just gonna bog down. So I think, adding Horn, and there sounds like he's going to be even bigger part of the game plan. So now you're kind of, you have a little bit of the unknown, and you're still going against a defense that is essentially right there with the league's worst defenses. I mean, they gave up 450 plus yards to Russell Wilson, and he got benched a week later. This is not a defense that's good just because, they forced a fumble on Breece Hall, and the Jets just got down on themselves and had a meltdown. So I think this Dallas team, they'll struggle defensively. I don't think you're getting Lamb and Turpin back this week. Javonte Williams playing a little bit above his head, especially now that the offensive line injuries are adding up. I mean, there was a angle last week where he just ended up breaking off a huge run. So I think there's just too much regression coming for this Cowboy team, and the Panthers have made subtle improvements on both sides of the ball. They've been much better at home. So give me Carolina here as a home dog. I think this is just another spot where it's just probably 2 bad teams, and I think the Panthers are getting too much disrespect.
Yeah, I took +3, +100 at DraftKings. I took some +3.5 too. So I agree with you here. I make this closer to 2, and that's on some uncertainty with the Cowboys, with all their injuries at wide receiver along the offensive line. But it's a bad defense. It should be a back and forth game. So I mean, taking the home dog with a field goal or better, I think makes sense. I will say Dak's playing at a super high level. Clayton Adams has been a huge get. The Cardinals' run game is cratered. I know they've had injuries, and I mean the Cowboys' run game ranks number 1 in rush success rate. So we might have disrespected Schottenheimer in this rushing attack. Maybe it's all Clayton Adams a bit too much in the offseason. And Dak, I just can't stress enough how well he's playing given the circumstances. But yeah, I think you got to take the Panthers here at 3 or better.
There's some good there, and even with Dak, I mean, like you said, strength of schedule, but there are some kind of odd things when you look at like Dak's numbers. Like his yards per attempt is just league average 7. Like you would expect for all that, it would to be much better. And then look at the Panthers, and all of a sudden, they're number 3 in defensive success rate, which I was very surprised looking at and seeing on that list. There it goes Denver, Detroit, and then and Panthers. So I think
I get the yards per attempt, but remember Lamb's been hurt, and he didn't have Turpin last week. They got rid of the ball a lot quicker with some of the offensive line injuries. That offensive performance last week was super impressive. You don't go on the road with 4 offensive linemen, your 2 best receivers, with a not so talented running back room, and get the win like that unless you're playing at a high level. But no, I agree. This game should be back and forth, so take the points. So who do we got as quarterbacks?
I got Cooper Rush, I got Bryce Young, and I got Justin Fields. Can't do any worse than that.
I got Darnold, Mahomes, and most likely Mac Jones.
I mean, yeah, if you didn't, Mahomes is just kind of, I don't know who you
Darnold's
are
not.
anymore,
Darnold's been
man.
the best quarterback in the league this year.
I know, that's what I'm saying. If you didn't have Mac Jones, I don't know. I wouldn't even know who you are right now. Like that. But that's gonna do it for our NFL Week 6 Sunday six pack here on the Action Network podcast presented by DraftKings. All right, that was our six pack. It's time for our favorite totals. Oh man, that was like a roller coaster of a loss on that London game for me with Cleveland. At one point, it was like, oh, it's toast, and then there was hope, and then there wasn't hope, and then they scored a touchdown, so couldn't even get the tie. But I'm gonna go this week with one that's probably a little contrarian, but Carolina, Dallas under 49 and a half. We'll see. I don't know if it's going to get to 50. We'll see. I mean, the fact that it's at 49 and a half is a little surprising. I think, as I mentioned, I think Carolina made some improvements on both sides of the ball. The speed will help, but ultimately, I think their defense is a little bit more competent, especially at home, than people realize. This is a team that's number 3 in defensive success rate. This is a team that's starting to make some personnel changes and schematic changes, and they've always had a good coordinator in Evero. So now you're playing a Dallas team that mentioned last week. They get essentially gifted to score like just a whole different, at least a touchdown, in terms of the total, if not more, right before the half. You have a Panther team that the week before against the Patriots, and you were on the Patriots, so that was a great call. But I mean, it was just like this special teams unraveling, and even that has improved because, for example, a guy like Campbell, their wide receiver, who's one of their gunners, that lost contain, I guess, on the Marcus Jones punt return a couple games ago. He's done. He's out. He's off the roster. So I think he waived injured, but they're making a lot of changes that I'm like, okay, this team is not completely just lost like they've been when Bryce was struggling last year. And Bryce starting to play better, but these teams, the key with these teams, both of them, so many long drives on both sides of the ball. So something has to give here, because if you just kind of match up their drives, you're going to have to, their plays per drive, you're going to have to project a downtick for both sides. And that is going to, blunt the scoring compared to what it's been. So that, combined with the fact that outdoor game for Dallas, wind game, I'm seeing gusts could hit up to 18 miles per hour. Anything, once you start hitting double digits, you're looking at about a 60% under rate as it is. So I think you actually get one of these just sweepy, ugly, windy games for both of these teams, and it's just not going to kind of live up to expectation, like the way they were scoring all over the place last week. So yeah, gotta go with the under in the Panthers and Cowboys.
Man, we're like 45 minutes into this episode, and you've spent half of it talking about the Panthers,
Oh
Jets, and
God,
Cooper Rush. All right, for my favorite total,
what we do?
I'm going. What did I have last week? I had
Our outline is different. Last year, I had like a place to track it in the outline. Now I feel like I'm all.
last week. I had the Eagles under.
Yeah, that was easy. I guess it got dicey at the end, but that was what they get? Was it 38? Yeah. I don't. And I don't have
Jalen
the
Hurts tried to
record.
catch his own Hail Mary. Did you see that? Did you see that? He ran, he sprinted. It's actually a decently smart move. Like if
Wait,
they
no,
would
I
have
don't
tipped
remember
it way
that.
up in the air. Did you see
I
it?
had
I'll
it.
send you a video.
I
He
had
just
it muted. I don't remember that. I feel like
Yeah, he launched it up in the air and then sprinted full speed towards the pile. So like say it got like batted a bunch. It would have been crazy if that happened, but
I
only that
mean,
it would only happen to
he's
the
got to get completion somehow. Stuck.
uh give you the Chargers Dolphins under 44 and a half at DraftKings. I Look, the Chargers, their offensive line injuries now, running back injuries have created their offense. I know the Dolphins can't get any pressure. They blitz a ton. You don't really want to blitz Herbert, but I think it makes sense now. They can't block anybody. They're down guards and tackles, and their running back room is a mess. So I think that in this game, the Chargers probably go a little bit more conservative to protect Herbert, rely on the run game, even without their backs. Like we just saw Miami give up 200 to Rico Dowdle. And I just don't know how the Dolphins move the ball consistently. You saw last week without Tyreek Hill. Like this offense is lost. And now they're going up against the Chargers defense, which is a perfect matchup from their perspective against the Dolphins. For what it's worth, too, is number one in the league in EPA per play against man coverage. He's number 30 versus zone. You know what he's going to get a ton of here? A lot of zone. I just don't know how this Dolphins team moves the ball anymore. Their offensive line is a disaster. Their rookie left guard, who they traded up for, is I think the worst starter in the league. He has a multiple games this year with a pass block rate of 0. He's just a traffic cone out there. Everything is a mess with this team. So yeah, give me the under Dolphins Chargers 44.5.
It's funny enough. I had ended up taking this one first, then pivoting off of it. I do like it. I just ended up liking the Panthers one a little more, but also it looks like it's going to be pretty humid in Miami for this one, and that usually leads to unders at a pretty high rate. So that's another reason I liked it. But Justin Herbert somehow is sitting like what 20th in EPA per play now all of a sudden.
I mean, you don't have an offensive line.
It's
There's
just
nothing you can do. No one, they can't block anybody.
Yeah, it could be a struggle. The only thing I worry about is there is some uncertainty with like Roman, I think, has done a better job of not forcing the run when it's not there. And so my worry is they say, you know what? The Dolphins have like just invisible ghost corners, and we have Justin Herbert, and we need to get his stats right again. And they just go all out after scoring 10 points. But yeah, it's just
I also just don't, regardless, don't see the Miami offense doing much.
Yeah, that's really what you need because the Chargers will probably have some success, but I also don't feel good about them as road favorites against a team that everyone thinks is kind of just completely down.
Yeah, I can't lay it here, but I also don't want to bet the Dolphins. Like I just have no interest in the Dolphins any week. I bet them once against the Bills. I just need a little, I need a little bit more, but I can't bet the Chargers at this price with their offensive line state.
The Dolphins are depressing. Yeah, this Dolphins. I mean, McDaniels is walking like he's doing his little like goodbye before I say goodbye at the end of every game in press conference. Now it's ugly in Miami, but when you think it's ugly, weird things happen. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I like that total as well. That was about to be mine. Ended up going Carolina Dallas under 49.5. You got Chargers Dolphins under 44.5. Now it's time for our money line underdog parlay stuff. Just tell the people who's going to hit because like you're 5-0. So I don't even know why I give a parlay. Like I should just ask you and we just bet 2 units on it.
I thought about the Panthers, but we're gonna go with the Saints. The New Orleans Saints against the Patriots. This is mainly a spot play. Patriots off that big win against the Bills, going on the road to play the 1-win Saints. I could see them coming out a little bit sleepy. And I'm going to say it for the 4th straight week. The Saints aren't as bad as people think. Like Rattler's playing at a league average level. Drake May's playing at an extremely high level. I don't know if he can keep it up. He's had some turnover where he plays that he's gotten away with. The late down has been so good. I think he's going to be elite eventually, but he could have a few stumbles before he gets to that level consistently. I still don't love this Patriots defense. I don't think either team's going to have any success running the ball. So this is like a little bit of a higher variance game with Rattler.
Taysom Hill's back.
Taysom Hill,
that's always high
gadget
variance
player, using him in different ways. But yeah, the Saints team is not bad. Like the only game they haven't been competitive in, without a chance in, like they could have taken the lead against the Bills in Buffalo. Was against Seattle, and that was just special teams blunders that let the game get away. So, yeah, give me the Saints at home against the Pats.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. I thought the Patriots were going to struggle a lot more against the Bills, and then the Bills came out and just had, just sloppy start to the game.
So sloppy.
But then Drake May also, you never know when these quarterbacks are just going to kind of hit that gear that they just never go back too. And I just don't know how to project the Patriots yet. But this is why you take a money line dog against them, because I just think they're going to be an inconsistent team. We saw them, and then there's still the fumbling issues. Like Ramondre Stevenson, and they only got 2 backs now, unless they're going to give carries to who would it be, Jennings, I guess, or like so. It's just a really high variance team to predict, and teams like that upset the Super Bowl favorites, and they also lose to the worst teams in the league. So don't mind.
I mean,
that
this
at
is a
all.
team that got blown out by the Raiders in Week 1 at home. So yeah, they lost to the Steelers at home. I know that was pretty unlucky, but it's a team I think is going to be up and down throughout this year, and this is just a good spot. So yeah, give me the Saints.
Yeah, and one team I do not want to talk about is the Raiders. I mean, that is just that I can't.
I thought about laying it with the Raiders this week against the Titans, but can't. I don't think I can get there. I need Bowers to play for sure and be healthy. But like, do I want to play the Titans? No. I mean, they should have been down 28-6 last week.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a team that is going in any right direction. Are you going to use the Titans here?
No, I was thinking about it because this Raider team is just finding ways, and I think the more I look into it, I think they have a Chip Kelly problem, and then by extension a Pete Carroll problem, and that just makes them have a Geno problem because everyone's just too old and no one knows how to figure out how to change anything, and they just. But I will say,
the Titans are probably worse in that aspect.
Yeah, that's that. But yes and no, because I am seeing certain things that I like. They're giving it the old college try, like that they started trying, or they're trying to reduce Lockett and Jefferson's playing time. They're going more 2 tight end. They're giving their rookie Helm more work. So like they're doing little things, but yeah, they're just bad. Callahan's bad. So I'm going to go with the team at plus 136, and the Niners, who I'm a lot more confident in. I think this could very well be the NFC Super Bowl representative. They're just kind of chugging on along. And their one loss was to another team that I think was severely underrated in the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, it's early in the week. Don't know exactly who's suiting up and who's not. But I don't want to, again, get like super excited if it's just Mac Jones throwing a Tonjes. But I do think that the Buccaneers have been getting extremely lucky. And yeah, even if Mac Jones is throwing a Tonjes, Shanahan's back in his bag. McCaffrey just changes his whole. Like, I think he's just always dreamed about McCaffrey. It's just like anytime McCaffrey's out, he just like gets in his own head. But he also signed an offensive coordinator this year or something like that, right? Like he delegated tasks, so it seems like there's a correlation there. So yeah, I like this Niner team. I think this is when you want to take them as a dog, and the Bucs' luck has to run out sometime. And they played the Eagles already and actually lost. And those are the 2 luckiest teams. So the parlay odds 5-1 for this one.
5-1 Saints and Niners. By the way, before we get to our anytime touchdown, people, if anyone, the 2 games we didn't talk about, Browns, Steelers. My numbers say Browns, but
yeah, same.
Look, Steelers should be healthier on defense, maybe fully healthy if Ramsey can go. Highsmith quarterback. There's now tape on Gabriel and what the Browns want to do. Pitt does get rid of the ball. Rodgers gets rid of the ball super quick, so maybe that mitigates some of the pressure. He has the lowest ADOT in the league that the Browns can generate. It's just I don't know how to quantify this spot. This is a nightmare spot for the Browns. They went from Detroit to overseas, now back to Pittsburgh, back on the road to play at Pittsburgh, who's coming off of a bye, this has never happened before. Too hard to quantify. And then Cardinals, Colts. What's the status of Kyler Murray? The Cardinals defenders, they don't have a run game without any backs. Where are they at mentally after that loss last week? This line's getting really expensive. It's a good buy low, sell high spot. But we just need to learn more. So I got nothing on that game as of now, except an anytime touchdown bet.
I like it. I actually got one trend because the Cardinals, if Kyler is ruled in and this number kind of is still sitting there above, I would say 6 if Kyler was ruled in, just note that this is the spot that you play the Cardinals. Kyler Murray career as a road underdog, 22-6-2, 79% against the spread, 48% ROI. 1-0 this season already. This is just when the Cardinals decide to show up, and it's just always happened. Multiple coaching staff, so it's almost an auto. It was gonna be an auto bet. It was gonna be my third, but we just don't know if Kyler's playing. So I have
Yeah,
no
and
trust in Brissett in this offense.
the
At
other
this
fear is
point.
that if he plays and like he has to have like a plate or something, and he's not mobile, which he needs,
Yeah,
like
yes.
so that's another concern to keep in mind. But yeah, and if anyone's looking for a teaser, I know I get asked about that every week. Um, I would probably go with um, let's see.
The Packers.
I'd probably go Niners. No, I mean I want to go through. I mean I
Teasers
don't
is
hate that.
good.
No, that's a high total with Detroit KC, but that I mean I can't see KC blowing their doors off.
Hey, Goff hasn't been great in the non, you know,
You know what? I
stuff
don't
that
really
Goff
like any
does.
teasers this week. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
I can't force any, but we do like an anytime touchdown parlay.
so yeah, let's get right into that. Our anytime touchdown parlay segment presented by DraftKings. Our favorite touchdown scorers this is just Sunday slate, so no Thursday, no Monday. Stuck. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go with Trey McBride. I'm plus 220 at DraftKings. Look, I don't love the Colts linebacker room. I think they can be vulnerable against tight ends. And if you look at what's happened to them this year, you say, okay, well, they haven't really given up much to tight ends. Well, last week they played the Raiders. They didn't have any tight ends. Bowers was a late scratch. And they played the Dolphins early in the year when they didn't have Waller, so they had no tight ends on their roster. They played the Rams with tight end injuries. Like the only team with like a good tight end, quote unquote, was the Titans with a rookie quarterback and Chigakonkwo had 5 catches for 66 yards. And McBride, so I think McBride has a favorable matchup. He's overdue for some touchdowns eventually. And if Murray can't go or he's not mobile, or if it's Brissett, usually when you get backups, you see an uptick in the tight end usage. And the Cardinals just can't run the ball right now. They don't have any backs. So I think McBride could see, especially in like the red zone. If say like you have Brissett or hobbled Murray and you have no run game, the increased target share, I think, in the red zone for McBride. So let's go with Trey McBride.
I mean, the Cardinals only should have had 4 rushing touchdowns last week, but to your point, that is not because of the Cardinals' strength as a running football team. That is because the Tennessee Titans are just bleeding production to opposing running games, and that's why I'm going with Ashton Genty here minus 150. I think it's too low. There's certain spots where you running backs are just a lot more likely to score. Home favorite spots are one of them, especially when you have a team like the Raiders. 1-4, average point differential per play down by 6.4 points. So they've essentially been a touchdown down every time they take a snap. Now they're playing against the Tennessee Titans, who are
Devondre Swift is massive for the
yeah. I mean, it's the Titans. It's the Titans offense too, right? It's like they can be what Geno has been for the Raiders offense, just giving up the ball right back to their team, a lot of possession. So this is just a completely kind of we haven't really seen this for the Raiders since week 1 when they beat the Patriots by 7 points. That's it. That's their only win. They've just been behind on the scoreboard, and so when they are neutral or ahead, Ashton Genty's getting all the work. They don't want to give Mostert anything. Zamir White's been a scratch. They just demoted him, and then Lobby is a special teams guy. So I expect nearly 100% of the relevant snaps for Genty in this spot. Carroll's been trying to get him more work. He keeps kind of mentioning every loss. So give me minus 150 for the anytime. Wouldn't mind if you're not doing this in a parlay for some, but you should because Stuckey's been crushing it. But if you're not, don't mind the 2 touchdowns as well, the 3 touchdowns. Like this Titans team has given up nine touchdowns to running backs in 5 games, and it should have been 10 because of Amari Demercado on a 70. He went 71 and like 5 ACRs when he needed to go 72. So yeah, got to go Genty here. Smash spot.
Agreed. Yeah, this Titans D without Sweat, their run D is so much worse, and then they just wear down eventually. So wouldn't be surprised if like Genty breaks a couple late as well.
Yeah, and
If
this
they're
is
wearing down.
if you want to get some more, like you don't really feel like you want to weigh the points with the Raiders, but you think the Titans are just going to go back to being the Titans. You could also kind of parlay those two and get a little better
Yeah.
odds. So, but that's it, because that's our anytime touchdown parlay presented by DraftKings. It's Trey McBride, it's Ashton Genty, it's plus 420. And I say that's it because we used to have a survivor segment after our anytime touchdown parlay segment presented by DraftKings, but I saved the Cardinals for specifically last week so I could use them
The
against.
biggest meltdown I've ever seen in my life.
Like I was like when it starts getting into that point, I'm like running errands, and because I always watch all the games like over again on watch every play. So I'm like, well, I didn't even realize that like it got to the point where they were in danger of losing, and I just look up and it's like, wait, hey, 20 what? And it was just I oh my god, I can't that might be, there's a non-zero chance that this is Tyler Lockett's last career touchdown. Like Tyler Boyd in a similar spot for the Titans last year, 16 games. It was like the starter playing like 70% of the snaps in the slot and 0 touchdowns. Like, I don't know if Tyler Lockett ever, like it's just the most inexplicable thing. The Cardinals are just low-key like the West Coast version of like the Giants, Jets, Browns. Like there's just like some deep struggle with this team, but it's just kind of no one really cares about them. So they just do it under the radar. But man, that is.
That was one of the roughest ways I've ever seen to go out in Survivor. I will say, last week I told you I have a
Yeah,
couple entries left in a huge pool. I used the Panthers and the Saints,
amazing.
who both got through. So this week I'm probably going to use the Raiders on one, and this is a huge pool where like I'm just trying to get equity every week. I'm probably going to use the Raiders, and then man, like the Raiders and
The Saints again? Oh no, use the Saints.
use the Saints. I
Use
mean,
the
I could
Titans.
use,
Just use the
no, I'm
Titans.
not going to. So I use the Saints and Panthers again, just in reverse for the two entries. Now I'm definitely going to use the Raiders. I might use the Steelers. Steelers are a really tough schedule after this. I don't really trust them, but
Yeah.
like when else am I going to use them is a good spot. So we'll see if anyone cares. I'll keep.
Do you you use the Chargers already? Or are you saving
No,
them? That I feel like
no.
they're
Let me
kind of an
see. When was
option.
I just hate like going across the country in the humidity with all the offensive line injuries. Like remember they lost to the Giants. When
Yeah.
would I use the Chargers? I had the Chargers. The Chargers are home against the Steelers. They're at the Titans. They're home against the Raiders. Um, they have some winnable games coming up. Like home against the Raiders later in November. Home against the Steelers. So I might want to use them later on in the year when they're healthier along the offensive line. So, all
Nah,
right, that'll do it.
it's the offensive line. That means Justin Herbert's due for a season-altering injury pretty soon. So you might want
That's
to
true
use
too.
him. But that's gonna do it for the Action Network podcast for Week 6, presented by DraftKings. If you want to tail some of the bets we discussed today, you can find the quick slip link in the video and podcast description, or visit actionnetwork.com/bet now. If you're on X, check out Playbook. Just tag @Playbook, and our AI bot will create a bet slip for you with whatever bet you're looking for. You can screenshot anything you see from Stuck or Kerner or me, or got Nick Giffen, anyone in the Action app or anywhere else, and it'll create bet slip for you. Very cool. All season long, you can hear more of me, my guy Kerner, fantasy player projections, DFS over on the Fantasy Flex, and then you can hear touchdowns on this podcast later in the week. And of course, Stuck, part of the all new Favorites podcast. Go check it out. It's really fun. And of course, he's still always talking football on the Big Bets on Campus podcast. You can find Stuck on X @Stuckey2. I'm @Chris Raybon. You can find us on those same handles on the free award-winning Action Network app. So go download that if you don't have it. You want real-time pick alerts, live odds, bet tracking, all that good stuff. Until next week, let's get this money.
Let go.